Hey everybody, it's Chris from the Droning Company here today with Kelly Brodbeck. He's the product manager at Teledyne FLIR. First of all, Kelly, really great to meet you. Absolutely.
Great to meet you. Thanks for coming by.
So I think most people that are in the drone industry have heard of Teledyne. You have a lot of products out there that are compatible with other platforms as well as your own, compact platforms themselves. Tell us a little bit about Teledyne and some of the products you're pushing today.
Sure. Well, Teledyne is a very large company. I think the best way to describe them and the acquisition of FLIR that they did a couple of years ago now to create the company I work for, which is called Teledyne FLIR. It's one of the companies within the umbrella of Teledyne. Teledyne is a sensing and imaging company, and they have a variety of delivery platforms for all the sensors. We like to say that we have things operating under the water, on the land, in the sky, in space, and now even on other planets. So all sorts of delivery systems, drones would be one of those, to deliver all sorts of cameras and sensors. The reason why Teledyne bought FLIR is the one kind of hole in their electromagnetic spectrum of products, the hole was infrared. And of course FLIR is the infrared company. We kind of invented the industry. So now being part of Teledyne, the combined company has a full spectrum of imaging sensors, delivery systems to serve pretty much any imaging need that anybody would want to have.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know a lot of the products that you have to offer are compatible with other UAV platforms that are out there, sensors, things of that nature. Tell us what your most popular sensor is right now and what it's capable of.
Well, a lot of what we do is in the military space, so I can't talk about it. But I'm in the commercial space, so I can speak about our line of boson cameras, sensors. That's probably the most popular. It's 640 by 512 resolution, and at this show we're rolling out what we call Boson Plus, which is an even more sensitive infrared detector. There are examples of it here in our booth. The images are just beautiful, super sharp. And more than just the sensors and the hardware that we do, we're really experts at the software that runs these things and that processes the images. So what you see from us versus our competitors are just beautiful, sharp images. In the time I've been at FLIR, I've seen the software advance just tremendously, just in a few years. The things that I'm flying on the drone that's above my head here, so much better than what we had even 3 years ago. Yeah. So it's really exciting to be part of it all.
Yeah, and speaking of the drone that's above your head here, could you sort of introduce us to this drone, this platform, and what it's capable of? You talked a little bit about it. But.
Yeah, my baby. So, and I have a whole team of people I work with, so it's not just me for sure. It's called Cyrus, and Cyrus stands for Secure Infrared Aerial System. Now that doesn't mean that it's only an infrared drone. It has a visible camera on it. But let's break down the name. Secure, because that is our priority. This drone connects to nothing. It doesn't connect to the internet. Your data is totally safe. We don't know who you are. We don't know when you're flying. Nobody does. The responsibility for flying appropriately is totally on the pilot. We put all the responsibility there because we trust the pilots. Public safety, police, fire, inspectors for infrastructures, these guys are pros. That's what this drone is for, and their data is totally secure. To get the data, you take the SD card out, you put it in your computer, and then you have full access to it. You can put it in whatever software you want to run, and everything's secure and cool and happy, right? Sure. Infrared, one of the 3 bits of feedback we get on this, the 3 most prevalent, comments on the security, comments on the price, it's less than $10,000, but the IR, people love the infrared. We've had a lot of testimonials from police departments that fly 640 by 512 infrared sensors, and they say yours is just so much better. We see so much more. You guys used to sell thermal cameras for $10,000. Now you got a great thermal camera that's attached to a drone. I mean, a drone included for free. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, those 3 things, the price, the security, and the quality of the IR. And then all sorts of other basic features. There's no geofencing. You can launch it within, I can do it in a minute. Most people maybe more like 2 minutes. You can get it up in the air really quick. It has the usual features of flight and zoom and all the things that you want to do with a drone.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I think that that's a barrier of entry that hasn't been addressed yet. Is there are a lot of smaller commercial operations that are trying to get into that space, that thermal reading space, and some of the technology is cost prohibitive when you're just looking at the sensors. So including a free aerial platform to go with a sensor that does what it's supposed to do, I mean, that's really valuable. It helps those smaller operations get into the field that they want to get into.
Right, and as one other aspect to the security, there's is it Blue UAS, is it NDAA compliant? Now we've got AUVSI with the green standard. This connects to nothing, so that's a simple way to understand the security. But if you look at the recent law that came into effect this year in Florida, it complies with that, okay? There's no component on here that's purchased from any company on the banned list for the NDAA. Nothing that is smart or can transmit anything intelligent comes from the PRC. The firmware comes from our partners in Taiwan or us. So there's nothing here that is suspicious.
Yeah, and I think 2023 is sort of the year of regulations and sort of some enforcement being put on the technology that's out there. You've got remote ID coming. You've got some larger names in the industry that have been blacklisted. So that type of sourcing is super important.
Sure, and I put my finger up because I've been requested by the FAA to point out that remote ID is not coming. It is here. Right. Yeah. It is the law, and Cyrus is remote ID compliant. Sure. Apparently one of the few. The FAA is quite concerned that there are a lot of companies out there selling drones that are not compliant, and they're trying to figure out, what are we going to do? We don't want to kill innovation and startup companies and whatever, but all I can say is Cyrus is compliant. It's got a very robust system. Law enforcement that want to use remote ID will be happy with it because our broadcast module goes out to 700 feet, which is more than most people do. Yeah. So yeah, we're all good there. Yeah,
I suppose that is a little bit of a different perspective. I'm looking at it from the pilot. I'm thinking, well, I've got till September, but manufacturers had to do it last year, and It's already here for you.
That's
so
correct.
Now, if anybody wants to learn more about Cyrus, wants to learn more about FLIR, Teledyne, where can they go? Social media, website?
FLIR.com or TeledyneFLIR.com /Cyrus. If you just Google FLIR Cyrus, you'll go to the right spot. Very nice detailed website with everything you need to know. If you're a Cyrus pilot, you want to download a map for your state. We have very detailed maps on a state-by-state basis. You can get it at that website.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it again.